Hello and welcome to the Change Gang podcast with me, your host, Laura Ordile. I'm here to help you hold on to your sanity and your soul as you move through big change. I'm here to guide you from frustration to flow in your life, bridging the practical and the woo, just for you. Let's go. Hey, Change Gang, welcome to the week. I have the amazing Amanda Smith, part 2, following right now. Enjoy.
In 2016, I met one of my first teachers, one of my first woo teachers beyond yoga. Yoga's very, in the grand scheme of things, yoga's very practical.
Yeah.
It truly is, because you're moving your body with intent. And then the goal, of course, is enlightenment, which is woo for some people. But this particular teacher came to me and he was like, do you realize that the reason that you're feeling so much pain is because you have not blocked out all of the other people's pain that they're experiencing in their bodies, and your body is literally taking that on? And I was like, tell me more. Give me more. And so he taught me what he called shielding. And I don't necessarily subscribe to that version of this type of work any longer, because it's very masculine and heavy and holds a certain weight to it, like from a mental, logical perspective, but also like I have to have armor on in order to protect myself, and that's not necessary. But when he showed me how to do that, immediately there was a bunch of pain signals that I was receiving in my body that went away. And I was just like, well, there's something to that. and then that was the rabbit hole of figuring out, okay, what resonates best in my body to be able to turn off and turn on other people's signals that I'm receiving. And that was the gateway into what I now do, body whisper healing, so that I can consciously control what I'm feeling from other people.
Yes, and that's the key right there. Oh my, that is such a key to things. I read something on, I don't know if you and I have talked about this in any of the conversations we've had anywhere, but I read once and I was like, oh my gosh, that makes such sense, that there's a difference between being an empath and being a sympath. Most people are sympath.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the difference. The sympath, because people always say, I'm so empathic, I can't go out in public, I can't, be around crowds, I can't do all these things. They're actually sympaths because they're like you were. They're so open, they don't know any better, they're taking on everything, and it does affect them. Absolutely. We live in an energetic world, that's going to happen. The empath is the person that has learned to manage that, to control that, to know that they don't have to take everything on, but to open it up when it's important to do that, whether that's through work or through helping people or whatever it is. So there is a difference.
Nice.
In that. And I always wanted people, they're like, I'm so empathic. I'm like, actually, you're not, but let me see.
You're torturing yourself. Please stop. Right? That was literally what this man came up to me and said. He, in all the grand scheme of things, is like, you're really torturing yourself constantly. Let's stop that.
I know. Let's just not do that. And I feel for the people that are out there that are doing that, and the people who are not teaching them that they actually are in control of that. Instead, they're teaching them how to avoid it or how to, do this, or it is almost, I'm going to say like a shield, or like I always think of it as little force or something. Yeah. That's super quick and easy. Mm-hmm. Take up, put down, do what you choose to do with it. You are in control.
Yep. I actually teach. That's one of the things that I teach is bubble work.
Bubble work. I love that.
Right? So think of yourself like Glinda the Good Witch from Wizard of Oz. You have a bubble around yourself. It's flexible. It's malleable. You can look at it in different shapes. It doesn't have to be spherical. It is there so that you have this energetic barrier. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, when you think about it, if you know what your boundary is when you're around other people, that's generally where your bubble starts.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's good information. That's very good information. And do you teach that you can control that bubble?
Absolutely. We can tune it to our energy. We can clean it up. We can clear it out. We can heal it up, because sometimes, and this is from like an auric perspective, sometimes there's splats, right? Big old holes have been blown out in certain areas, or there's cuts or burn marks. And those are some of that psychological stuff that we have to work through, but at an auric level. And that whole auric thing, again, now this is me bridging the gap between science and woo. That whole auric thing really just talks to how far does your energetic field, your magnetic field on your body go out. I can stretch mine all the way across the planet. Not a lot of people can do that. My next experiment is to see if I can do that with astronauts off planet.
Ooh,
Right.
yes, of course that would be something for you to do. Oh my goodness.
Right?
Absolutely.
Pulling
And
that one in.
it's going to be absolutely doable, because it's like, what is it, folding space or something? You'll just be
Yes.
right there.
Just right next to them.
Reach. It'll be like, boom, there.
Yep. Even though they're not in our magnetosphere, they're, they're not being protected by our atmospheres. Yeah. Which that's a whole nother topic we could talk about for an hour or two.
We could just dive in all these fun things. Oh my goodness, I know. But it is so important for us to know that we get to control that energy, and that it's important for us to do so, because we live in an energetic world, and because we're meant to be in that energy in different ways and shapes and forms, and to experience it. I've actually done some of the work that you're talking about with expanding, that energy. And that's a great way to work with your intuition too,
Right.
is to do those practices where you're right here and it's just a bubble around you, but then maybe you move within your house, and then, your neighborhood, your city, and you expand it out and see what's there. What do you feel? And when you're talking about the clairs, just in case anyone's like, I don't know what, what's what. It's basically knowing. It's, you just know stuff. You visualize stuff. You hear stuff. You smell stuff. All of those things. Taste. All of our senses. I always say intuition is our first sense, and it uses all the rest to give us the information that we need in order to interpret what it is that it's trying to tell us. And that's what those clairs are. It's the other senses. It's the senses that sometimes you just know something. Sometimes you might hear something like you did when you were tiny. Sometimes you might have the feeling. You really do feel into something. That's a little bit different than knowing, but that's more detailed.
It's knowing on a different level.
It is knowing. It's knowing through your body and feeling it in your body, because sometimes you just know something. It's almost like what some people would call a download or something, or a quick vision or a quick knowledge of something. And it's like, oh, that's going to happen. I've had that happen lots of times. Everybody has had that happen at some point in your life.
Exactly.
These are not gifts. These are what we have. Yeah. Our intuition is not a gift. It is a part of who we are. Where you choose to hone that, what you choose to do with it, that's your gift, that's your skill, that's what's there. But we all have access to it. And people like you can help someone, and me can help someone to find that and be able to work with that and know that. And I think that's so incredible.
It's one of my favorite things to do. Give people who are like, I'm very sensitive and I really don't like to go out in public anymore because of it. Give them that gift, so that they can exist. Because in the grand scheme of this existence, we were given these brains so that we could communicate. And the people who live the longest, those people in the blue zones, the reason they live the longest is because they're social. So if you have a goal of living the longest life you could possibly live, get more social. And if you have that fear of being social because you're so empathic, apparently sympathic, learn how to be empathic so that you can use it to your advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it is an advantage. Why wouldn't you want to use something like that when you're going into a situation with even a family member, and be able to open that up a little bit and see, how are they doing? It's not an invasion, it's just it's a check-in, and to say, how can I help? How are you doing? Be able to hold that in yourself and know that maybe they need a softer tone today. Maybe they need you to give them a nice swift kick. Whatever it is, you're going to know if you're open to the management and the understanding of those feelings. And oftentimes that is in your body.
Yep.
People who really do often dive in really empathically. Often I term them in terms of astrology. They're often water signs, and they are, yes, so much.
Scorpio.
Scorpio, deepest one yet. Yes, they go way deep.
Yes.
And I have whole Scorpio stories, but it's important for them because in their body, they feel it. They feel those emotions, those reactions, those things. And they're often the caretakers of our world. They come in and they're going to help you, especially with your body. Especially, but they're going to be the caregiver and the caretaker in the family. They're going to be those people that go deep into the knowledge of what's going on, just like you. And it's important for them to understand what's happening, not just go, oh, I'm overwhelmed and I can't do it, because then it just triggers other things and leads into trauma, and it leads into anxiety and panic attacks and IBS and all the flippin' things that are going to continue to show up for you.
Yep.
But I love that
and headaches and let's keep going down that train.
We can do the whole list of, so it is not only the body either. It is the emotional realm, depression, anger, anxiety, which we do feel in our body, but those are emotional, sometimes mental things that go on. You might have the mental state of looping, the looping thoughts. You just can't, you have those circular thoughts that continue and continue. Mm-hmm. Or you have those thoughts that come in and keep telling you you're not enough, that, you do everything wrong or whatever it is.
Yep.
Those are things that can all be healed through a lot of the work that you do. And I think that's important.
Yeah. That was one of the toughest things for me in this business, was to really niche down. It really was, because trying to pick, okay, what ailment do I really want to focus on? Well, I don't really want to focus on an ailment. What type of people do I want to focus on? Well, I help out the young and the old and everybody in between. So my coach was finally like, you know what? The majority of the people that you're seeing, what's the root cause that they end up finding out from you? And I was like, oh, it's the gut. Right? The gut-brain axis in the body is a phenomenal thing, and it controls so much. And I was like, okay, so if I dial in on the gut, then I can help people who have diabetes. I can help people who have cancer. I can help people who have chronic fatigue. I can help people who have headaches, right? The list is just ginormous. And the fact that they probably don't know that it came from the gut and it's going through this brain-gut axis is where I get to give them the big aha, the big reveal. Which that's knowing for most people is half the battle. Literally 50% of the battle for them is understanding what is really the problem. And that's my gift. That's the big gift that I give, is being able to go, okay, here are all the patterns. Here's everything that I see. Here's what I'm feeling in my body. Here's the messages I'm receiving. This is your issue. Let's fix that.
Let's do that and see what kind of difference that makes in your life. That's incredible. I think, gosh, I'm like, okay, do me. So
I can.
But I think it's so amazing. You know what's so fascinating is that it does 99% of the times. I didn't know this, but in the UK, and I'm sure you work worldwide, but in the UK, with the work that I do, working obviously with some of the similar stuff that you do, but I think it's the NHS, is that their system? NHS, National Health. I think it is. Anyway,
NHS.
It's like
NHIS or something like that, but yeah.
Whatever it is, their health system will allow treatment for IBS with the work that I do, like through hypnosis. Mm-hmm. However, they will not allow it for quote unquote PTSD.
Doesn't make any sense.
What's happening is IBS is a big connection with trauma, with PTSD, gut health. Like you said, there's so much connection. You're going to find that. And so most of the people can get treated for IBS and they're clearing up all the other things that's there, because when you go in to treat that, you're automatically treating for the whole person. So you're clearing all of these other things. But I think it's so fascinating. Oh, we can't treat you for trauma, but we could treat you for the gut issue. And through treating the gut issue, it's clearing all of the trauma issues, all of the other stuff that they have going on.
Yeah. I've had people who have come to me specifically for gut issues, and their outlook on life completely shifts. And then I've had people who have come to me with depression and things like that, and we address their gut, and again, all of a sudden their outlook on life completely changes, and I'm just like, yeah, they're all connected.
They are. Well, my gosh. And it does take you, I call it a new 0 point. When you clear those things, you come to this new 0 point in life of, oh my goodness, you do have this whole new perspective, this whole new awareness, this whole new way of being in the world now. Mm-hmm. And it's like, ooh, how do I manage my life now? Because I'm not centered around the bathroom. I'm not centered around my pain. I don't have to take that into consideration in my daily life now. Imagine the freedom of, and that's just incredible to me. I love that.
That's actually the 4th tier of what I take people through in my Heal to Grow program. So the last step is new body vision, right? They've gotten to this point where they are healed, and they've done the mental work as well, and their bodies are brand spanking new to them. And they actually need guidance on how to treat it. And that's that final tier in working with me. That's that final step, that new body vision. You can see it. Now what do we do with it?
Right? And that's wonderful, because we do need guidance at that point. Mm-hmm. You just do.
Yeah, because you've been living a certain way my people are chronic sufferers. They have been living in a certain way for a extended period of time, whether that's 5 months of experiencing migraines or 15 years of experiencing migraines. They have had to live a very specific way to manage that pain. And now they don't experience migraines anymore. What the heck do I do with myself? I can work again. I can connect with my family again. I can sleep again, right? All of these things start to come through for them, and they're like, well, how long do I sleep? How much time should I play with my niece and nephew? Should I be concerned that I'm going to get a headache again if I play with them too long? All of these things come through for them, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, you probably need a little guidance there.
Yeah, and as silly as it sounds, those can be scary moments. Oh, just like you said, I can work now? Well, what do I do? How am I going to do that? What does that mean?
What am I going to do?
Yeah. So it can be scary moments in how those change, but when you have the support of someone there to help you through those moments and the next steps, it's not as scary. It's fun. It's interesting. It's exciting. And
right. And when they have someone like me who's getting intuitive hits constantly, and they've experienced that with me for several months, usually the 6-month time frame is what I like to work within, but they've experienced me giving them these downloads, and I let them know, like, yeah, that was a message from your aunt. That was a message from your body. I felt that in me, and they trust that the information I'm receiving is going to continue to propel them forward. And that's the big gift.
I love that. That is a gift right there. Thank you so much for this conversation. I appreciate it so much. This is so incredible. I could talk to you we could sit and talk forever, but
we have a couple of times.
We have a couple of times. It's like we continue the conversation. But I would love for you to tell people where they can find you. Of course, it will all be in the show notes, so they can just go click away and find you and connect with you. Please share.
Absolutely. Bodywhisperhealing.com is my website. And then you can find me on all the socials under Body Whisper Healing. That's how you find me. Instagram, Facebook. I'm even on Pinterest. For those of you that love Pinterest like me, I'm showing my age. I know.
My husband is on Pinterest. I'm not on Pinterest, but my husband is on Pinterest. I think that's always hilarious cause he'll do recipes or something. And I'm like, where'd you get that on Pinterest? Okay.
Absolutely. That's where I go for all of my recipes too.
Oh, that's funny. You guys get to be pals on there.
Yeah, it's nice to cook something new every once in a while. You've got your old staples, right? And then you've got the let's make it even better opportunity on Pinterest.
Oh my gosh. I mean, our world is so open now. It's so incredible.
Yes. The information never ends.
It doesn't. And I'm happy for that. All right, Amanda, I'm going to let you head into your day. And Change Gang, I'm going to let you head into your week. And I hope that you have a wonderful one and that you meet me same time right here next week. I hope today's episode was interesting to you in some way and fun. If so, hey, find someone to share it with. maybe they need to hear it too, or maybe they'll just enjoy it. If you'd like, go ahead and grab my tips on supercharging your success. It includes a free short meditation to do just that. You can find that at bit.ly/supercharge your success. Until next time, happy day.